Should I start?
Yeah, but yeah, press continue so the thing's away.
So we're group 2, and we are Alexis Ramirez, Isis Rangel, Lauren Hernandez, Audrey Ray, and Sandra Paris, and we were assigned Little Albert.
So, who was little Albert? Little Albert was a 9-month-old child who was exposed to different stimuli to elicit a response. Some of them was a white rat, a rabbit, a dog, a monkey, as well as a mask. So, a little description of the research study. The purpose of this experiment was to condition a phobia using classical conditioning and to see if classical conditioning actually worked on humans. Little Albert was the sole subject of this research study. The research method that was used was classical conditioning. The neutral stimuli was a white rat. The unconditioned stimuli was a loud noise produced by a hammer hitting a steel pole behind little Albert's head. The conditioned stimuli then became the white rat because he did become fearful of it, and the conditioned response was fear of the white rat. John B. Watson had a PhD in psychology, and he is also a behavioralist. Rosalie Reiner was a research psychologist, but at the time she was a graduate student during this experiment. The experiment was conducted at Johns Hopkins University.
So the implications that happened with the participants was that little Albert was hurt during the experiment due to many reasons. The first was that he was classically conditioned to fear white rats, and before that in his life, that previous fear did not exist. This could have impacted him greatly for the rest of the life that he lived by having fears to almost anything and everything. The animals were also in distress from the experiment that were used. And then he also developed a fear of loud noises, and that could have increased throughout his life. So he was put through a lot.
The principles violated. So one of the main one was avoiding harm to the subject, which researchers or Watson and Reiner tried to condition fear into the infant, and they made no effort in following him after the experiment to ensure his well-being and mental status, as well as lack of informed consent from the subject or the parents of the subject. Watson and Reiner took the 9-month-old from the hospital and conducted the experiments until around the subject was 11 months old. During this time, they failed in getting consent and giving a proper explanation of the experiment to the mother, as the child was too young to agree in being involved in the experiment.
So the conclusion of the little Albert experiment was that he was presented with fear when he was presented with stimuli. Albert's mother removed him from the experiment. Watson does not explain why Albert was removed from the experiment, other than that they knew that he would leave a month in advance. And the results of the experiment is that fear can be conditioned, the probable cause of phobia. And little Albert, he died of hydrocephalus at 6 years old.
Um, do you think that such violation could occur today? Why or why not? I do not think a violation could occur due to the experiment being unethical. Albert was not of age to give consent of himself, although his mother gave consent and was paid $1. Watson was not allowed to withdraw from from the experiment, even though he was fracting. And the second question, well, I think the entire experiment was unfortunate, and as a result, it it raises several ethical concerns. Watson and Reynolds should not have proceeded with the experiment without getting consent from both the subject and his parents. Also, they should not have conditioned little Albert to fair things. What I learned from the experience is to always follow ethical guidelines.
And these are just our resources that we used for the project.